Every profession has its ethical issues. For those outside the profession, it's often not apparent what those issues are, even though we may be touched by them. If you have ever used a library, be it a school, public, or academic library, you have been touched by library ethical decisions. Ethical issues faced by librarians tend to focus on protecting intellectual freedom and privacy. What exactly do we mean by intellectual freedom? According to the American Library Association Office of Intellectual Freedom, it is the right of every individual to both seek and receive information from all points of view without restriction. It provides for free access to all expressions of ideas through which any and all sides of a question, cause, or movement may be explored. Intellectual freedom is the basis for our democratic system. We expect our people to be self-governors, but to do so responsibly, our citizenry must be well informed. Libraries provide the ideas and information in a variety of formats to allow people to inform themselves. In addition to this statement, librarians are guided by documents such as the Library Code of Ethics, a Library Bill of Rights, and a Freedom to Read statement, all documents of the ALA, the American Library Association. Let's consider these documents and what they mean in the context of some real and typical ethical situations that have occurred at our own McIntyre Library. I need this book for my paper, but it's checked out. Can you tell me who has it so I can email them and ask to borrow it? My paper is due tomorrow. Hi, I'm Professor Whopper. I'm planning to show a video, Supersize Me, in my class tomorrow, but it's checked out. I'm sure someone else in my department must be using it. Can you tell me who has it so I can get it? What do you think? Should the librarian divulge information on who has a needed item checked out? Yes, it would help people get what they need, and the person who has the book or video probably won't mind. Librarians are all about helping people, right? Well, maybe for the professor since he needs it to teach his class. No way. What people have checked out is private information. The Library Code of Ethics states that we protect each library user's right to privacy and confidentiality with respect to information sought or received and resources consulted, borrowed, acquired, or transmitted. Most libraries, including McIntyre Library, will not give this information out, not to students, not to professors, no matter how compelling their case or desperate their situation. It is considered unethical in that it violates the library user's privacy. In fact, it is this commitment to privacy and confidentiality that has pitted many librarians against certain provisions of the USA Patriot Act. While libraries have always had to turn over certain records in response to court orders, the Patriot Act substantially lowers the legal standard for obtaining a warrant. The Patriot Act also imposes a gag order on librarians, prohibiting them from telling anyone, including the patron under suspicion, that records have been requested or surrendered. Many libraries, faced with a situation where the law and their professional code of ethics are in conflict, have changed policies and issued statements, or in some cases warnings, to their patrons. Madison Public Library, for example, has posted policies notifying its users of the kinds of records that can be requested. Like McIntyre Library and many other libraries, they make efforts not to collect or retain any personally identifiable information that is not essential to the running of the library. Santa Cruz Public Library has received attention for the warning it has issued to its patrons regarding the Patriot Act. It directs questions about the policy to Attorney General Alberto Gonzales. There have been some somewhat creative responses to the gag order restriction in the Patriot Act, as the following examples from librarian.net illustrate. Let's look at another example of a library ethical question that occurred in the wake of 9/11. Shortly after 9/11, when Americans were urged to be vigilant, a woman came up to the reference desk and reported that the man on the computer next to her was reading something in Arabic, which was suspicious. She asked the library please contact the authorities. What would you do? Politely ask the man what he is reading and then decide whether the situation should be reported. Politely reply to the woman that the library protects the rights of individuals to read what they want, including Arabic. Report the situation to campus security. While the woman was acting in a manner she believed to be responsible, the librarian would not have been acting in a professionally ethical way in questioning what the man was reading. The ALA Freedom to Read statement states that it is in the public interest for publishers and librarians to make available the widest diversity of views and expressions, including those that are unorthodox, unpopular, or considered dangerous by the majority. A student approached the reference librarian looking for information in support of the death penalty. The librarian is personally opposed to the death penalty. What does the librarian do? Decline to help the student as it would violate moral beliefs? Assist the student in finding the information he needs? Direct the student to resources that offer arguments opposing the death penalty and gently suggest that he consider changing his position. This is a tough one. In reality, librarians have personal opinions and beliefs on most topics, but we are not being asked our opinions. We are being asked how to help a patron find information on a particular topic, and that's what we should do. Just as a journalist strives for objectivity in reporting the news, so too do librarians in providing information. The Library Bill of Rights states that we provide the highest level of service to all library users through appropriate and usefully organized resources, equitable service policies, equitable access, and accurate, unbiased, and courteous responses to all requests. Libraries deal with a similar issue in the selection of books and other materials. Libraries can't, of course, buy every single item published, so they constantly make selections. What separates selection from censorship? How do librarians decide what to make available and what not to make available? According to the Library Bill of Rights, books and other library resources should be provided for the interest, information, and enlightenment of all people of the community the library serves. Materials should not be excluded because of the origin, background, or views of those contributing to their creation. Libraries develop selection policies that guide their decisions. These policies reflect the mission of the institution. They take into account published reviews of materials, requests for materials, overall balance in the library collection, specific needs of the library's primary user groups, budgets, space, and more. School and public libraries encounter some of the same ethical issues as academic libraries, but because children comprise one of their primary user groups, they deal with additional ethical concerns as well. Libraries have long fought against efforts to censor books in libraries, but every day school and public libraries are presented with challenges by parents or community members who are offended by a book or video or other item in the library collection and want it removed. Have you read Harry Potter books, Catcher in the Rye, Goosebumps, or Captain Underpants books? Anything by Stephen King or Judy Blume? Of Mice and Men, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Color Purple, A Wrinkle in Time, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Outsiders? These are a few of the most challenged books of the last decade. The ALA Freedom to Read statement says that it is the responsibility of publishers and librarians, as guardians of the people's freedom to read, to contest encroachments upon that freedom by individuals or groups seeking to impose their own standards or tastes upon the community at large, and by the government whenever it seeks to reduce or deny public access to public information. Regarding access to materials for children, most librarians believe that the responsibility for monitoring or limiting what a child reads or views is the responsibility of the parent. Librarians, like everyone else, are individuals with varying levels of tolerance and differing interpretations of our professional code of ethics. Part of the ambiguity, some would argue, can be attributed to the fact that we have a code of ethics, but it has no teeth. Librarians don't sign a document vowing to uphold it. We don't lose a license or get disbarred if we violate it. Librarians vary considerably in how they interpret it and to what extent they are governed by it. One doesn't have to accept the library code of ethics to become a librarian. However, like many professions, librarianship is self-selecting and tends to attract individuals who are committed to the ideals of unfettered access to information and the right to privacy.